Welcome to Leg Day with Ring Fit Adventure, because everyone loves leg day, right? The lower body is generally used to such a large extent in our everyday movement, so it is important to make sure that you do keep it conditioned and trained. Now, this can mean ensuring that you're training parts you aren't using as often, such as your hips and your glutes, making sure they're worked properly, as these can fall by the wayside, and, that's bad, okay? There are far more benefits too. If weight loss is your goal, for example, the legs contain some of the largest muscles in the body, and therefore require more calories to supply the necessary energy, meaning that by working out your legs, you can increase your total calories burnt in a session because it uses more calories. Now, this can be very effective for weight loss. Also, stronger, larger muscles require more energy even at rest, so you can burn extra in your downtime. That's the basic overlook for it anyway. But look, the last set of playlists, they were focused around the upper body. You can combine them with the playlists here to create a fairly well-rounded set of exercises in a program. You just make sure you're doing them on separate days, okay? Now, as per usual, warm up and cool down effectively when you're working out. If you are looking for some good static stretches to do, I have got a couple of guide videos that I have just uploaded, so I'll link them in the description below. Keep yourself hydrated and make sure you're getting some good sleep to help your body recover properly, okay? Also note you must have completed World 11 for some of the jogging sections. Alright, let's go. So this first set is working on your glutes. Now, training your glutes has a variety of benefits, from additional power when you are running to extra calories burnt due to the size of the muscle, as I mentioned earlier. It centers around 3 sets of 3 exercises: the hip lift, a squat-based movement, and then an aerobic basic exercise to get the legs moving again. Each set uses the glutes slightly differently to make sure you're training them in as varied a fashion as possible. Now, the first round is hip lift, then squat, then knee lift. This mix of static and dynamic movements will target some fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers. The next set is hip lift, chair pose, and knee lift. The isometric hold on the legs for chair pose may be tough to hold, but it will give some mild respite, as the glutes are more of a supporting muscle rather than an agonist here. The last set is hip lift, overhead squat, and ring raise combo. So the overhead squat here is allowing for some core work, as the overhead raise does require good control to hold, and the ring raise combo will use more dynamic movement as a way of getting your heart rate up, getting your blood flowing back around the rest of your body. And then look, we finish with the knee lift combo as additional cardio with dynamic squat movements. This will be tiring, but it will make your glutes feel great once the DOMs have gone. The second playlist is about the hips. Now, the idea behind this playlist is to get your hip strength up through a variety of compound and mobility movements. We start out with Night Cloak Pass as a jogging track with some light squat movements to help get your hips moving. We then roll into the resistance movements, starting with the hip lift, which is a classic. You've got your glute contraction, your hip flexor extension. We then use squat and overhead lunge twist to create hip flexion and hip extension in 2 different methods, dynamic and static. The overhead hip shake serves as some active recovery and uses some mild adduction and abduction of the hips as well. The thigh press then focuses on the adductors, and the hinge pose will then be used, featuring that rotational movement, and will give a light stretch to the hip flexor on the side being extended vertically. The static hold of the pendulum bend works the core in the bottom of a deadlift-esque position sort of thing. Try not to hunch your shoulders and try to keep a neutral straight back for yourself, okay? We then finish with leg scissors to really top off the multi-directional hip movements of this set, and then just a final overhead hip shake to shake off the hips. The final playlist in this video is squat power, and this is going to involve a lot of squats and a lot of hip flexion needed for the squats, so you may want to prepare yourself. If you are struggling with your squat form, set the reps lower or just avoid this playlist, okay? Now, if you are going for it, we start our journey at leap of faith falls to get our breathing right, and then to lightly work the muscles needed for this squat intensive session. We then make sure everything is activated and powering up with the hip lift, followed by the standard squat. Make sure that your back is neutral for yourself and that your knees are aligned in the direction of your feet. Then we go for knee to chest, which plays with a similar movement without as much intensity. Then to play around for a bit, we're going to do the squat goals minigame. Now, this may not be a break physically, but this will recharge you mentally, give you something a little bit fun to do. Choose your own difficulty here, okay? The overhead lunge twist and knee lift combo come next as a more dynamic way of getting hip flexion training, and then also to re-raise our heart rate for the flutter kick move. This will do the hip flexion again, but also comes with that extension since your legs need to be slightly raised, so it kind of makes it a little bit counter to your standard squat. Speaking of the standard squat, we're going to do another set of them, but it's also worth noting if you'd like to swap this out for wide or overhead squat. If you prefer, then do that. Then we round out the squat power playlist with the swing gait jogging level, giving some cardio recovery, but also featuring some standard squats to finish. Look, this playlist is going to hurt, but it will really work your squat form and it will really help with your endurance. And there we have it, leg day for Ring Fit Adventure. Honestly, don't combine them all on one day. I don't think that is sensible unless you are extremely well trained. Look, these can work as counterparts to those upper body exercises from the last set of playlists, as I said. You could also add in ones from core conditioning and cardio as well. Make yourself a rounded program with these playlists, it's pretty cool, hey. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and that it's informative for you. Please like and subscribe to the channel to support me and to see more Ring Fit Adventure and video gaming content. We've got plenty of more topics incoming, plenty of guides as well. As always, if you do have any questions, please feel free to comment and let me know. I will answer what I can. And yeah, thank you again. I will see you soon.